The idea of a sequel to Last Exorcism had been discussed, but we didn't want... After the first film opened, the producers and I had talked about a sequel to The Last Exorcism, but obviously we hadn't thought very far about it, or we wouldn't have called the first one the last one. And we always knew the biggest challenge would be the title. And then we figured, okay, well, there's, how many 5 Final Destinations? So we just moved forward with The Last Exorcism Part 2. The first film really took everyone... The first film we made for $1.5 million, and it opened at 20 million. So everyone was asking us, where's the sequel, where's the sequel? And I talked about it with the other producers, and we decided that we didn't want to do it unless we had a really great story, and we were going to take our time finding one. And everyone said, that's fine, whenever you're ready, bring it to us. We spent 3 years developing the sequel. We really thought through every single storyline and kept running up against a wall if it was a documentary. The breakthrough in the sequel came when we decided to change format and shoot it as a straight traditional narrative movie. But we also wanted to tie in the first film, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if the first film existed in the world of the second one, but as a viral video? It's just out there in the world, and nobody knows where it came from or what it is. There's absolutely no explanation for it. It just exists. That way, Nell, to certain people in the movie, is some kind of YouTube celebrity. They see her and they go, oh, do the thing with your fingers, and oh, you're the girl who bends your back, and do all that freaky stuff. And people think it's a joke, or maybe some people believe it's real. But shooting it as a traditional narrative with the first one existing gave us all sorts of creative license to reference the first one, but also really continue with the story and follow Nell's journey. Ashley Bell is such an amazing actress. She was such a pleasure to work with that we really, really wanted to write a vehicle where she could shine even more so than she did in the first one. The original movie is very much Cotton's story, and Patrick Fabian was fantastic, but we wanted to write a film that would completely showcase Ashley and really, really make the film about Nell, where you could have the backbending is only the beginning. What Ashley Bell can do with her body, with her physicality, with her face, with her voice, with her eyes, is such an incredible range. We really, really wanted to show that. And also, it was fun for us to watch this character go out in the world. The character of Nell is someone that's very sheltered, who had suffered this family trauma of the mother dying, who just went very, very, very deep into religious homeschooled world and hasn't really seen much outside of her farm. So when you set her in New Orleans in the middle of Mardi Gras, it's fun to watch the world through her eyes and to see how all these things affect her. And Nell has absolutely no memory of what's happened to her, but slowly the past starts to seep in and strange things start happening. And very slowly her world around her begins to crumble and she realizes that this thing is really after her. We wanted to make a sequel that would be fun and scary. We didn't want to have another documentary crew going to figure out what happened. You could feel it when the first movie played. People loved the possession parts. And the filmmakers love the possession parts. It's just fun. I think that every generation has their own horror movie that they embrace. And I love The Exorcist, but that's a film from 40 years ago. And I think that today's teenagers need a movie that's going to be their Exorcist or their possession film. So we wanted to make a movie that really showed what happened to this girl after the movie. We wanted to make a film that would really show what would happen if something was after you and you started to embrace it. That was something we had never seen before. We talked about shooting a film traditional. We made a shift in directors. The first film was directed by Daniel Stamp, and he did an incredible job. And Daniel's hero is Lars von Trier, and he really shot it like a Lars von Trier movie. But after the success of the first film, Daniel got all kinds of offers, and of course, we lost him. So we started looking for other directors, and Ed Gass-Donnelly came along, and I really, really loved his movie Small Town Murder Songs. I thought it was very, very smart, very elegant, well-made little thriller, and he really, really understood the material. And Ed's favorite director is Roman Polanski, and he wanted to approach this film like Rosemary's Baby, and we thought that was absolutely the right idea. We wanted beautiful photography, fantastic performances, and where the camera work, the editing, the filmmaking doesn't get in the way of the story. You just let back and you can just sit back and watch the movie happen. We talked about the different ways that Ed was going to photograph and frame it and design it and really, really shoot it much more like a classic horror movie in the tradition of Rosemary's Baby or Robert Wise's The Haunting. So obviously Ed, I think that Ed did an incredible job. I love possession movies. I think that there's something I think that possession movies never get old. It never gets tired. It's the kind of subject matter like zombies that people can mine forever because there are so many different stories. Every country, every culture, every religion has possession and exorcism. All of them do. So it's something that everybody relates to. And even when there's an organism in your body and you're sick, it's a form of possession. And when you see a loved one going through dementia and their personality starts to change, it's a possession. I think it's some strange, deep down fear that everyone has this other thing can come inside your body and take it over. And we had never before seen a movie where the protagonist starts to embrace it. And what would happen if you realized that maybe you were better off with this power inside you? Exorcism is such rich subject matter. I think there are many, many, many stories that can be told in this space. I remember when The Last Exorcism came out, people were afraid because The Exorcist was the other exorcism film. It's the only exorcism. I remember when the Last Exorcism came out, people said, how can you have an exorcism movie? There's The Exorcist, it's the classic. And I pointed out that that was 40 years ago and audiences were ready for something new. And if you look at vampires or zombies, any subgenre of horror, there's always new ways to tell new stories and to reinvent it. So the novelty of doing an exorcism movie as found footage we created with The Last Exorcism, but the novelty of doing a found footage exorcism film was what got a lot of people to see The Last Exorcism. But if we wanted to continue the story, we knew that that wasn't a gimmick we could do again. And we really, really looked at what would be the smartest, scariest way to tell the story. I think that there's all kinds of new things that are going on in possession. In possession movies, you always see someone possessed and they're trying to get it out, But I'd never seen someone slowly start to embrace the thing inside them and realize that maybe they were better off with this thing inside them and that maybe this was the only thing they trusted. And once we started going down that path with the story, we really, really came up with all kinds of interesting ideas. Damien Chazelle did a fantastic job writing the screenplay with Gass-Donnelly, who's a terrific director and had so many cool, creepy ideas. We just wanted to milk the film for as many fun, creepy moments as we possibly could. You know, I wanted to make a film that was just a fun night at the movies. Ashley Bell was a find. She came in and auditioned for the first movie and she just blew away the room. What many people don't know is that I knew Ashley before she auditioned for the movie because my father went to high school with her father. But when Ashley went in and met with the director on the first film, she didn't say she knew me. It's the only instance I've ever heard of an actress going into an audition, someone that I know, and not saying anything. She wanted to win the part on her own merit, which she absolutely did. And she's an incredible, incredible actor. And in the first film, you're seeing Ashley play this character Nell, someone totally innocent or completely possessed. There's no middle ground. You don't know if she's completely crazy or if there's something inside her because she's so convincing with no voice alteration, nothing digital. It's all her doing everything. Well, in the second film, we're watching this girl, Nell, grow up from a young adolescent into a young woman. She has absolutely no memory of what happened. She's haunted by her past. Someone did some horrible trick to her and it was turned into a fire. It was an accident. It all went wrong. She doesn't really know what happened, but she's on her own now in New Orleans, living at this sort of halfway home for troubled girls. And we're getting to see Ashley explore the world for the first time and slowly start to realize that this thing is after her. So all the fear and the vulnerability and then all the power of once she's possessed. She's an incredible, incredible actress and a wonderful person. And I'm so happy that she got critical acclaim from the first film. She got a Spirit Award nomination, MTV Movie Award nomination, and I think it's only a warm-up for what she does in the second film.